Alex Ansary here. It is March 28, 2017. They call it the battle for Mosul, but it's really the slaughter of Mosul following the election of Donald Trump, following the $54 billion in military spending for wars in the Middle East. These are the types of things that we're seeing already. So even Fox News is reporting on the civilian death. We're going to talk about that. Dramatic new video from the ISIS stronghold of Mosul captures the pitched battle between the black-clad jihadist army and the U.S.-backed Iraqi forces and the innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. Innocent civilians. Alex Jones knows there's innocent civilians there. Other people in the media knows that there are innocent civilians in the Middle East that are not participating in terrorism, but they demonize them anyway, even though they know they're innocent. And so we see this pretty much hitting the news on a regular basis, especially over the course of the last month. And in the last month, we've seen an increase in the amount of troops that have been sent to Iraq. Here's a headline here: 200 troops sent to Mosul. More financial and human resources are being applied full steam towards the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East with no end in sight. As far as civilian deaths in the last month, 300 is one reported number. And by the way, from Israel's Netanyahu, big praise for Donald Trump. The Prime Minister applauded the new President of the United States for continued support for Israel at the United Nations, military aid, and a strong stance against militant Islam. What's all this about Obama being behind ISIS? I'm sorry? Wasn't there supposed to be some sort of a Donald Trump investigation behind radical Islam? Instead, we see no change to the agenda. So we go back and we look at the civilian death toll as a result of what the U.S. is doing in the Middle East. This is going to haunt us. So a U.S. general is warning that the fight against ISIS is more than likely going to trigger a sharp spike in civilian deaths in the Middle East. From the Daily Caller, his warnings come after reports that a March 17th airstrike may have inadvertently killed 200 civilians in Mosul when supporting the Iraqi security forces in the fight against ISIS. Circumstances surrounding the blast are murky, with one Iraqi counter-terrorism commander saying that the strike was called in on an ISIS car bomb. When the vehicle was struck, it exploded, destroying one or two of the houses next to where the families were hiding. Britain confirms involvement in West Mosul bombing during civilian deaths, and all this in addition to what is going on in Yemen. Under the guise of fighting radical Islam, the U.S. and their allies have a license to kill. Here are the words from Paul Craig Roberts. Our Western values no longer exist. Now, I'm going to read this to you, but I want you to pay attention to the fact that he doesn't mention Donald Trump. He mentions the left, and I'm noticing the psychosis around the internet. The left, the Democrats, Hillary Soros, others, they get the total blame. Donald Trump is completely innocent. And see, it was BS when the Democrats said that the Republicans were controlling Obama's foreign policy. That was a lie then, and it's a lie now for people to say that Donald Trump is trying to make America great again, while the deep dish pizza deep state is after Donald Trump. Here are the words from Paul Craig Roberts. He says, quote, "Let's be honest, the U.S. attack on Mosul, Iraq is not an attack on ISIS. It's a repeat of Israel's Operation Cast Lead in Gaza. The purpose is to kill as many Muslims for Israel as possible. Here's the evidence." And he drops a few links. Again, he just divert, point to the left, point at Israel. Don't mention Donald Trump. Remember, the reason ISIS is in Iraq and Syria is that the U.S. equipped ISIS and sent ISIS to overthrow Assad when the British Parliament and the Russian government blocked Obama's planned invasion of Syria. ISIS is Washington's creation, just as is Al-Qaeda. After 16 years and trillions of dollars, the Afghan Taliban still holds sway over the world's only superpower. Here is the U.S. general's excuse for the America's military defeat. It's the Russians' fault. Why is the Democratic Party, the liberal / progressive / left, the twin idiots of John McCain and Lindsey Graham, and the American and European people so unconcerned with the waste of trillions of dollars in the destruction of millions of lives and the infrastructure of Muslim countries, along with the reputation of the Western world? How can't it be that tranny toilet facilities are more important than the West's ongoing destruction of Muslim countries? Why is the liberal progressive left helping the military-industrial complex? How much evidence is required before it is clear that Western civilization is empty of integrity, judgment, reason, morality, empathy, compassion, self-awareness, truth, empathy, of everything that Western civilization once respected? All that is left of the West is complete and unrestrained evil. And here is the problem with all of this. The problem is the constant demonization of America's value system and real Americans that will question authority and tyranny, whether it's Donald Trump or Obama. For people to label everybody that isn't drinking the Donald Trump jungle juice as a leftist, as a libtard, as a Democrat, is only adding into this manufactured Civil War paradigm by design. So don't you find it interesting that there are people out there that are commenting, that are acting like they care about Muslim nations, acting like they care about Muslims in general. They act like they're against the constant bombardment of these regions, but they refuse to associate Donald Trump with all of this. Pay very close attention. You're seeing the biggest mental health crisis this nation has ever seen.